down my spine to the bottom. And then I would always wake up with a sort of electric jolt in my bed. I would turn on the lamp, which came on, and that's how I knew that I was then in the conscious waking world. But it didn't feel like I'd been in a dream. It was sort of, it was like I was just in a kind of just round the corner in this other reality, you know?
And then it only started to make sense when you read Whitley Strieber's book and
Yes. And started talking to you and Whitley Strieber's book, and then just every single piece on the abduction phenomenon that I read, John Mack, it all made sense, but beyond just the words making sense, it was like I understood the whole landscape, and my dream made sense to me. I felt like that, but because I did feel like that running of the finger down the spine was very important, but it kind of seemed ridiculous. I didn't understand why.
So you had all these different parts of your mind that, because you never considered the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and you just didn't know what to do with that, right? Is that interesting? Well, let me just ask Roderick, have any comments about that?
No, I was just listening to a story, and you know, just when she's talked about, you know, just coming down, you know, your back, you know, how did it make you feel more, intensely with that moment, you know? That's my only question as far as.
So in the dream, it always felt like very real, like, you know, like I was awake and somebody was actually running a finger down my back very slowly and methodically. And so I found it sort of terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to just see in the moment, how you was feeling, you know?
Yeah. And then I would, another strange thing connected to the period I had these dreams, was that I would sometimes be lying in my bed, in that same bed, and I would feel like I was turning into stone and I couldn't move. And then when I eventually could move, I would go running through to my mother saying, I'm a stone. And she'd just kind of be asleep going, yeah, you know, it's okay, you're all right. But I've sort of found out since that that's not an uncommon sense.
It isn't. You know, I felt like I was being pulled out of my body. It was very uncomfortable. But let me bring Mario into the discussion, because I was reading on the Facebook group, was it Abduction Stories or something? And Mario, so many amazing experience. I tell all of some elements of her, and what's the most intense you want to relate to us today about, or you can tell us sort of some of the starting stories. I mean, go ahead, just jump in and you know, the first experiences, and then the fear, and then how you kind of came to terms with it. Is that good?
So you want me to tell the first experience?
Is that too long to tell? It's because that's quite dramatic.
Yeah, if you want me to tell the first experience. Okay, so I was about 18 years old, and I had to go to work. I start work at 6 a.m. and it was like about midnight. And I decided to walk to my cousin's house so I can go work with him, so we can go in the morning. And when I got to his house, he was sleeping. And then sorry, just makes me nervous.
It makes you nervous to tell the story because it brings up memories. I get it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh no, it's just weird to tell other people. And then so I grabbed my mattress, the single mattress, pillow and blanket, and I put it in the lounge room. And I turned all the lights off, and then I just laid down on my side. And then I heard footsteps behind me. then I thought maybe he woke up. And so I thought, I was giggling to myself and I was thinking, I'm going to scare him because he doesn't know I'm in here. And so the footsteps, you can hear that these footsteps were getting closer to me, behind me. As soon as when I got closer, it stopped, and I had feelings that he'd probably be standing behind me. So I thought I'm going to turn around and scare him. And I quickly turned around to scare him, but I could see inside the kitchen, there was light in there, but there was nobody behind me. And just in that instant, something threw me back, flipped me back to my side. And then I couldn't move. I was frozen. I just felt like there was like electricity running through me. I just couldn't move. I couldn't, and then I started to scream, but my mouth wasn't opening, but I could hear myself screaming. And then I could hear all these voices talking at the same time. It was like whisper sounds, but you can hear them talking. I don't know what they're saying. I didn't even know what it was, but I could hear different voices all speaking at the same time. And then you could hear how like the helicopter, when they start their propellers, like when it starts spinning, you can just hear this kind of sound in there, and you can hear a humming sound. And then and because my eyes were shut because I was scared, I could tell it was bright. And then all of a sudden, and then while I was screaming my head off, I was like praying, like, Lord help me. And then eventually the sound calmed down, and then it just went quiet and dark. And then I just got up, turned the light on, and ran into his room.
Did you suspect it was extraterrestrial, or what did you think it was?
Actually, I thought it was ghost at first because I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So this happened a bunch of times. You have like 3 or 4 stories, but then, I mean, on what you wrote online, very detailed.
Yeah.
But how did you come to a resolution about it? Or
okay. It was the third encounter. It was the third encounter that I knew it was them, because my cousin was in the room with me. This was like after midnight, and she, it was getting late. So I was living inside the garage at my parents' house. So she went inside the house to sleep because it was getting late. And then, so I told her to lock the door as she walks out. And then I turned the TV off. And so it was a bit dark in there. And I just laid on my pillow on my, facing to the right. And then I just felt, just like seconds later, then I felt something crawling on my head. I thought it was something crawling on my head. I thought it was a mouse, but mouse have 4 legs. But I felt like 2 like this on my head. It was just like going like this across my head, and that scared me. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is that? And then so I just remained still, and then not long after that, I felt like 3 long, like super long fingers, and they were pressing on my back, like real, softly and just slowly, and they were just pressing all around my back. And that's when I knew there was something, I felt like it was aliens just because of, their long fingers. And so I thought I'll try and like quickly look at them, but I couldn't, because they quickly froze me and I couldn't move again. And, that sound started to happen, the whispering, the sound, talking started happening again. And because it was my third experience, so because I was always thinking, oh, it must be aliens, so maybe this time I'll just like maybe try and go along with it. But I just felt myself coming off my bed, and then so I quickly opened my eyes because I just thought that was weird. And then I could see my bed down the bottom. I was up towards the ceiling, and that freaked me out, and I just started screaming my head off. And then I started and then eventually the sound started to calm down, but I could feel myself coming back down to my bed. And as soon as I got back to, I was back on my bed, I just still in the same position. I just laid there. I didn't move. And then it went quiet again. As soon as I went quiet, I just didn't do anything. I just stayed there until I went to sleep.
But you actually, did you get a glimpse? I mean, you knew that was an alien then, right? I mean, that was...
No, it was the 4th one I knew.
Oh, the 4th one. Yeah, tell that. And then we'll have everyone jump in and ask some questions. And
okay, then.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so the fourth one, because I didn't get to write it all on the Facebook because it
I
was
know.
too long to write. So this time I actually was asleep because every other encounter I was awake. But I happened to, because I have a niece and there was toys outside the front of my door and I'm still in the garage. And then I heard a noise and that's what woke me up. And sometimes you just know that they're there. And I was thinking in my head, oh, they must be walking around the front. And they stood on the toy, And then I heard the back door, because my mom goes to work at 1 a.m. She always leaves and I always hear that back door close at 1 a.m. And then, so I looked at my time, it was going to 1 a.m. So I thought, oh, that's my mother. So, and then behind me on my bed, when someone hops on your bed, you can just feel like someone kneeling down or just hopping on your bed behind you. I knew straight away, oh, they're here. So I thought I was going to quickly turn around and punch it, but I didn't even get to do that. As soon as I turned around, I was frozen again, all that sound happening again. And then this time I was able to open my eyes and the room wasn't dark because I had my lamp on, the TV on. And I thought I'll just open my eyes, even though I'm frozen. And then I just opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, I saw this little brown alien, kind of like a 6, 7-year-old child height. It was just standing right at the front of my my lamp. And it was like skinny. It had big brown eyes, little mouth, big head. It was like big black eyes, but it had white around it as well, kind of like owls, but just like it looked like a cartoon type of version eye. Mm-hmm. And like a fish. When you see a fish, they have that gloss or slime around their eyes. It was kind of like that. And then,
were you afraid?
No, I wasn't afraid at that very second. I was just actually just like shocked, amazed at this little brown alien, because I didn't feel any sense of, I was scared until I saw this big, tall, gray, white alien coming out of the ceiling. So like, when you're swimming and, when you swim to the edge of the pool and like, you like kind of hop out. Yeah. That's what it looked like. It was coming out of the ceiling, but upside down. And it had like, big head, long, skinny arms, fingers. The eyes were like big and black and just black. And then I just felt scared in that very moment. And I just shut my eyes. And that's when, before I shut my eyes, I just said, oh my gosh, because, I saw that little brown alien. It kind of heard me. To me, it felt like it heard me and it quickly looked at me and it ran out my sight towards my foot. And then after I saw that alien, the one coming out of the ceiling, that's when I closed my eyes because it was just scary just to see that. And then, I just felt them grab my ankles and they pulled me real hard. And I was gripping onto the blanket, trying to get myself, I was trying to break out of that state where you're like frozen, paralyzed. Right. And then I felt myself going through the TV cabinet, but I kept my eyes closed then. And then I could hear this machine. It was like towards my foot, and you can feel the heat. And it was just scanning. It was just going. It was just like that, and then it was coming all the way up towards my towards my head until it went past, and then and then I could feel like I was coming back through the wall, and then I was back on my bed on my side, and then I'm still frozen, and then I just hear this door shut, like a door closing, and then as soon as that door closed, I was instantly I could move now, and I quickly turned around and I swore. But the shocking thing is, because I have been telling my mother about these things and I've been telling my family, none of them believe it. But the next morning I went inside the house and to my surprise, my mom didn't go to work. So I said to her, oh, they came back. They came last night. And she's like, what? And then I said, the aliens. And then she said, Oh, that's weird because at that time of the night, she said she saw a black shadow figure running through the hallway in the house, and then past her room. So and I was like, oh, that's them, but they don't really believe me anyway.
No, that's a good confirmation. Excellent. Maybe Henrietta, Roderick, do you have a question about this?
No, I'm just floored with his story, and just listening to it, and that thing of them coming back to him over and over, and just says that, like I think we talk about it in the past as far as being, maybe the DNA of the history, but I don't know, I'm just floored and amazing story.
Well, Henrietta, it's similar to your story in this, talk about how it relates to what you went through. I mean, as far as like sleep, the sleep and the fear.
Yeah, I mean, just it's so interesting because even though it's a very different story. I mean, in that you were physically awake, but these things of kind of feeling frozen, not being able to scream, the pressing on the back with the fingers, that just kind of gives me chills because that always was the thing that gave me the most chills of all, because I kind of, there was some sense that it wasn't like a human being, but I mean, I was so young, couldn't possibly think much about what that meant. But it's, I mean, it's just, and it's really interesting how some people like yourself, you keep having these experiences and other people don't seem to have them at all. So that's interesting too.
The other thing you said, that I used to have this fear of somebody pulling my ankles in the middle of the night, and could never sleep with my feet off the bed because I kept feeling like someone would grab my ankles. I don't know who would, but it. And then I always would want to sleep with the light on too. When I was like 13, 14, I guess a lot of people don't like to be in the dark, but I would fall asleep, and the radio and the lights, I would always sleep with them on because I just thought that would keep away a presence there. Can you relate to that, Mario? So, Mario, what's your resolution then? Who are these beings? Do you think they're good? What do they want with you?
I actually really don't know. I've thought about it many times. I don't know if it's good or bad. But I always thought, oh, well, if they brought me back, then it must be a good thing. So I don't know.
But when was the last time it actually happened to you? How long ago?
It was like 7 years ago, because I now stay in the middle in town. So I feel like because most of these, when it happens, it's like, because I stay in the country area.
Yeah.
When I'm not where there's more lights, I feel safe. And my parents, they stay out in the farmhouse. My mother keeps telling me to go sleep over there, but I don't want to sleep over there because she's like just out in the middle of the farm somewhere. So, it's all dark there. So I never go there.
What town are you
in Australia?
Yeah, where are you? Which town?
I'm in Griffith, New South Wales. Griffith is the town.
And where is it in New South Wales in relation to Sydney?
It's 7 hours away from Sydney, but inwards, inside.
As if you're going into the centre.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Are you near Adelaide? Is that New South Wales, Adelaide? No.
No.
But you're in towards the Ayers Rock, Uluru, right? In that direction? No.
That's more in the center. I'm more outside on the right side.
He's on the east coast.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with Aboriginal people about their star? Have you talked to some of the Aboriginal?
I have Aboriginal friends, but I haven't told them. No.
Because some of them are very open to this. I also wonder, is anyone else in the Zoom room that wants to share an experience? you could just put your camera on and join us. And hi, Mihaela, welcome.
Hi.
You had someone. This is Henrietta and Mario, and
Hi,
I guess
Henrietta.
Roderick will be
Hi,
back.
Nadia. Hi.
Tell us about your experience.
How's it going?
Good.
Tell us about some of your
do it right about now.
experiences.
Awesome. Thank you.
So it started much earlier, but as a child, I don't remember anything. It started, I noticed when I was 10 years old that I would see events that would happen few months later. So I would see them at night. I would see my grandfather passing away, and I would know I would see events like images that would happen months later. And it continued throughout my life. I was afraid of dark. So now I'm not afraid, but somehow I was pushed towards faith. So, but through messages, I got messages, go and pray, go pray to this saint, go. And that's how I started. It wasn't myself, but I wanted very much. I was given that path. And later on in life, I became very close to faith and everything. Later on, I immigrated to Canada. And last year, when COVID started.
From where did you immigrate from again? Where were you?
From Romania, Bucharest.
Oh, okay.
I see. So you went to Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. I immigrated with my son, and here I got another, how to say, the second part of my life here.
Yes.
And last year, COVID started in May. I was with this work I do, and this very kind of active and everything. I used to work long hours and be very agitated, like very focused, and I go to bed at 12 o'clock, and suddenly the room, and I open my eyes immediately. Something made me open my eyes. And the room was filled with violet fog type, but I know for sure it's a plasma. I don't know where I know. It's a violet plasma, violet energy. It's amazing feeling. But I got very scared about the disc, because the disc was next to me, 30 centimeters away, and was facing me, 57 centimeter, 60 centimeter diameter, and was facing my face, split in four quarters. Each quarter had messages. The symbols I memorized right away: a triangle, a right triangle, and a dot. Underneath, a sinusoid with 3 peaks. But then the left quarters had the language I didn't know. The fear increased hugely inside my body. I thought it's my end. That's it. That's how much impact I had. So I closed my eyes. Big mistake. I felt so sorry afterwards, because they made me close my eyes. Because I blacked out. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I woke up in the morning. I have no idea what happened with me all night. But then I started meditating, because I do mindfulness meditation and I do every day. And I started communicating with this disc. But it took me a few months to figure out. I logged the file with MUFON in Canada. I started recording everything. I've seen the orbs. So I have to back up a little bit, few years. So 2015, I moved here in Georgetown, and even in Toronto, where I lived first time, something happened in Toronto. First time when I arrived, I felt a huge energy rushing throughout my body, and I felt like it was trying to get inside me. And I moved. But in the morning, I don't remember anything all night, but in the morning, I've seen all the blinds perpendicular, like something was pulled through the window. I don't remember anything in Toronto. Moved in Georgetown 2015 in this place. And I think I was abducted. It happened. So I stop here with the disc because I get you tired with the disc. But this disc, it's very important. But I'll stop here to go back to 2015 because it was very. So you want me to continue with the disc, or you want me to go back to 2015?
Okay. What happened to Mario? I guess he left. I was going to ask him.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, great. No, don't go because I wanted to bring you back in. But no, you can stop with it just because, I mean, there's a lot of stories, but I think we should all be here trying to make sense of this, you know, like that's why I'm curious. I mean, it's so, this is what Henrietta and I talk about a lot. How Mihaela had these experiences, Henrietta, you and Mario had this other type, but and I've had my own where I felt frozen, but I really want to understand, if we can, what are they trying to do?
So I figured out. So I have an answer. Yeah, I have an answer. So they are trying to change me. So several months later, they started communicating with me right away, but indirectly through insights and images. And I got blue flashes into the laptop or into the iPad when I watched was in December 21st to 25th I got to attend this and was very interesting. Alberto Villoldo. Okay. That was major communication with me through that iPad. Blue flashes, central blue flashes on the keywords. And somehow they connected with me because I understood right away. I wrote down the keywords. The keywords were neutralize your feelings. Then do not judge, do not criticize. Huge, but they were like pulsations, pulsated blue flashes like that. So it was very clear it was communication. It was very clear to me. So I got these messages: neutralize your feelings, do not criticize and judge. Befriend with people like you. But
you know, you had a kind of uplifting experience, Mario, Henrietta, and me actually. What do we, I mean, does any of this sound like it may have been for your benefit? Or I mean, any of the contact that you had, I mean, or is it just kind of freaking us out for no reason? I mean, what do we do with these experiences? I think they're there for a reason. What do we do with them? You don't know, right? But do you feel different somehow? Do you feel
I just feel like I just know a lot more about the universe a little bit. Just knowing that there's others out there. That's all I feel at the moment.
But
can I say something?
Yeah, please, Henrietta. Yes.
Because I just feel that this feeling I get from Mario is that when to your question, do you think it's doing us any good? I feel that it's sort of given you this world, like you said, where you feel, how large the cosmos is. But I noticed at the beginning, you said you feel weird talking about it with people.
Yeah.
But I think if you really start embracing it as like, wow, I've experienced something which is keying me into the much larger, huge framework. You can probably go with that. I just get the sense that you're a spiritually evolved person, whatever that means. But and it's a gift. And your experience is
Wait, what's that, Mario?
That's so interesting because one time I went somewhere and this elder lady, she just came out of nowhere and she just said that she sensed something spiritual about me.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like you know, you're not sort of, as they say, stepping into it. But I mean, I know exactly how you feel because I did that for years. But if you really just go like, I don't need to worry about what, you know, the rational minds of everyone else think. And sort of know that these things are really happening. It's like you can then become, you know, enjoy exploration more. That's not to say it won't be, you know, weird or frightening, but I sort of just have this sense about you and Mihaela that you know, you're connected to a much larger dimensional reality, which we all are, but you know, you guys are definitely sort of, you're getting communicated with, and it's a wonderful thing. I think it can be used in that way.
But what's go ahead, Mihaela.
I am different person than May last year, totally different. So many things happened to me, and I figured out God, the creator. This means creator. It's one. This comes to my mind. Coherence, I figured out in 8 months. Be coherent. Increase your frequency was continuously messaging me. Increase your frequency. And I have insights now. And I have to write them down because they come into my mind. And as soon as I write them down, they go away from my mind. So it happens at any point in the day with me. So I have huge number of insights. Now, huge at night, energy coming through my body, different places. I saw Arcturians and I asked them, who are you? And they answered, but I woke up with Arcturian name. I'm not studying a lot on internet because I want my memory to get back. And that's why I don't. But the Arcturian name I was not familiar with. I didn't even know how to spell it. So for sure, they are behind the disc. Also, I asked them, who am I? Why did you come to me? And they showed me this, my room, violet color, and 3 cubes on the bed where I sleep. I wasn't there, just 3 cubes. Mm-hmm. My understanding is 9 dimension.
Oh, well, Mario, have you read any books to like compare your experiences to like Whitley Strieber's? I mean, like that, have that helped?
No, I haven't read any books, but I have looked on YouTube about alien abductions, and I've pretty much just heard other stories from other people. That's all.
But it does. When I had some experiences, it made me feel better. And you too, Henrietta, to start to read what other people had said about it, and it made me integrate it more. I felt like, oh, this happened to you. It happened to me. It's not that weird. And
I felt a little bit better. I felt I wasn't the only one.
Yeah,
definitely not. I think there are millions, thousands. It's just that a lot of people don't talk about them, or they don't know what to do with them. So,
But Henrietta, what do you think the connection between spirituality and aliens are? Because there's sort of 2 different frequencies in a way, 2 different things.
I mean, I know nothing in terms of like hard evidence, right. But my sense is, because I like what Mihaela was saying about these messages, this neutralizing your feelings, the no judgment, the coherence, the increasing your frequency, that those are the kind of messages I get as well. Mm-hmm. But I think, for a start, this is just a personal peeve. I don't like the word aliens because I feel like, right. I know what you mean by that though, but because I feel that there might be this thing where perhaps once upon a time, whatever our spirit is, we were connected to what they are. It's like we're an embodied form of something, and they are a different form of us. They've developed different intelligences, and we've developed different intelligences too, which has a lot to do with our body and our whole sensory organism. So I feel like it's this kind of reconnection with, and it maybe perhaps it's clunky, but in terms of it being part of our spiritual evolution, by that I mean that for me, I feel like Alan said, as soon as I could sort of just go like, I know these things happen to me. I too, like Mihaela, have had premonitions and insights throughout my life. And now I can sort of go like, these things, these are very real. These are just for sure have been happening all the time. And now that I'm comfortable with it, I feel like, and the integration, you know, to put it very simply, one's empathy, one's kind of focus, one's happiness, one's ability to move in the world and be productive or effective or helpful just kind of seems to happen much more naturally. Because I also feel like there are allies, or, you know, once you've had this contact, actually, Mario, I feel if you kind of, I mean, I don't, you know, it's just, I'm just guessing, if you feel like this is something to do with your own personal evolution, which then helps with the collective evolution, it's kind of a wonderful adventure that we can embrace, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than pushing it away, it's kind of like, well, let me just, because I feel like I'm surrounded by these beings that I've met in my dreams, but it was only after I met Alan that I could really go, you know, isn't that interesting that I just push all that stuff away and pretend it's not happening?
Well,
It's
I think
like,
a lot of people do, because it's
Yeah.
not part of the world that we've been taught or conditioned, brainwashed to think is real. So
well,
when
in
we
our
have these,
culture, yeah, but like
yeah,
in Aboriginal culture or indigenous, you know, the whole dreaming world and these mystical experiences are just, and telepathy are very common, you know.
well, that's why I wanted to invite Mario and whoever else wants to talk about this, because the more we talk about this, and we're doing this on Roderick Martin's Clubhouse twice a week, I recommend that, for people to come forward and start the conversation. I mean, I think I have a bunch of people actually in the chat on YouTube right now talking about this integration. We're at this integration point.
Yes.
And Mihaela, you've really integrated on a whole other level of you've opened your mind somehow to these other realities that, I mean, is that what happened? If you, Mihaela, you heard Mario's story, do you think he could get to that level, or maybe he's just meeting different ETs? I mean, that might be the thing. You're meeting some and he's meeting different people, beings. What do you think?
So it happened that I've met different beings, and I remember them. But they are very, they don't want to scare me. So they show me either the profile and the eyes. I've seen the shiny eyes, very shiny eyes, and just the profile, so I don't get scared. And then Arcturians they communicate telepathically, and they communicated telepathically with me. They talk different language with me, a man's voice and a woman's voice. They spoke.
And what did they say? What was the message to you?
Was a different language. I didn't understand, but they were speaking to me like I understood the language.
Well, maybe I just want to, I think for me and Henrietta and Marie, I think a part of us and you, Mihaela, on another level, are there, are connected. It's just when we come down to this human place. So when they speak a language, this is my guess, I don't know, part of you is actually understanding it, or
Yes.
or maybe even you, Mario, maybe the human part may be freaked out, but the bigger part of you is kind of meeting them on an equal ground, possibly.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, that's my thought, that who we think we are is only a small part of who we really are, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I was going to say to Mario, it's like, to sort of, if you can feel more comfortable with these very strange events,
Yeah.
you know, that I bet that your whole kind of way of existing would start changing, because it definitely has for me.
What were you going to say, Mario? Yeah.
So I have embraced it, years ago, and it's just the part where I can't really get to share it with certain people, just only my close family.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very common. I mean, I don't talk to most of my friends about these things really in any depth at all.
Well, it's like, it's the Plato's cave. Like, the guy goes outside the cave and realizes we don't live in a world of shadows, and he goes back and tells people, guess what? There's a whole other world out there. And they say, you're crazy. It's only what we see here. So,
yes. Exactly.
Yeah. What's Mario? What were we going to say, Mario?
So I do tell people, even people that I don't know, sometimes, if I'm having a conversation, it just depends. And then, sometimes I'll just tell them, oh, do you believe in, other beings? Or, I do tell them, and sometimes I say it just to see how they would react. Or, but one of the main reasons why I tell the story is so that they know that there's actual beings other than us.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Definitely. Yes. Actually, maybe.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if Jim or anyone in the rest of the room wants to jump in here. Carol, I know. I'm not sure who April is, but if you come into the room and join the conversation, and I'll ask them to start, because I mean, what I'm trying to do here is build a community. It's that's why I said before, if all of us start to talk about, what's been strange and unusual, more people start to talk about it, if we, and so, I don't know what, go ahead, Henrietta.
I wanted to just read this little paragraph after the dream.
Yes.
Because, Alan and I were talking to a friend of mine called Darren in San Francisco, and he's brilliant with words. He has a very good way of putting things. He kind of says what I would like to be able to say. So I just wanted to share this with you. He said that, I believe that our species was originally an intimate symbiont of another form of intelligence. And a symbiont is a biological form that lives in some symbiosis with another biological form. And originally an intimate symbiont of another form of intelligence that we are presently both unaware of and largely unavailable to. The nature of the relationship was a form of traveling. We're not a single thing or a thing within a single dimension. Sometimes I think that non-human intelligence is actually what human intelligence is.
What is, let's break that down. Non-human intelligence. So our intelligence is maybe alien in a sense. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, and also that we're not this single thing, and that the nature of the relationship, when he says it's a form of traveling, I think it's kind of like we're many things in many dimensions, but we're existing mainly as this thing in this dimension is what, but we actually have the capacity to inhabit very different experiences to this. But like you say, Alan, we're not encultured or encouraged to do any of that. In fact, the opposite. We're discouraged.
Exactly. We have to fit in.
I mean, yeah, I was discouraged all the time to even, daydream and imagine, because that seemed to be very fruitless. It's much more worthwhile if I studied for my maths test, history and things like that. And then I'd put, after Darren's little, what he was talking about, I'd put that this exchange of information that I have had with beings from other places echoes what Darren suggests. Because I know when I've come into contact with these very different forms of intelligences, I feel like we're trading information about each other. And it's really fascinating. I've just found it so enjoyable. Kind of like, they want to know all about my emotions and my sensual body, and I feel like I kind of give that to them.
Yeah.
And then they give me this feeling like they're making me my mind clearer and more expanded, so that I can receive all kinds of different information. To be very blunt about it, that's kind of one experience I've had.
Well, I'm really happy. Thank you for that. That's great. No, that's a really good piece. I just Igor joined us here.
Hi, Igor.
And
Hi.
Igor,
Nice to see you.
And I think Igor's point of view and his experiences actually can help some people feel more grounded and adjusted. Igor, do you want to share? Because Mario had quite a traumatic experience. I've had traumatic, Henrietta had traumatic, but it wasn't so traumatic for you. Talk about what happened to you, and how you integrated it, because I think that's good to know.
So I had a sharp awakening through a spiritual surgery, which happened in South America. And after that, instantaneously, I started to connect to different solar systems, dimensions, realities. And the first time that I've seen them physically was in 2004, right above that facility.
In Brazil. In Brazil,
yes. There were 3 spaceships, 2 small ones and 1 large one in the center. That was my first encounter that I've seen them.
But wait. When you saw them, were you freaked out? Because you came from a pretty mainstream, you were on Wall Street.
Well,
I mean, talk about what your reaction was.
Okay, so when I arrived there, obviously I did not know anything about spirituality or angels or meditation. It was all kind of not my world, had no clue about it.
This was a healing center in Brazil, a healing center.
Correct.
Yes.
When I arrived there, there was all kinds of stuff going on, which was not believable to a person's eye. It was a miracle being happened there. Lots of healing was going on. And when I first arrived there, you have to believe, you have to see it to believe it. And he would do all kind of healings. People come back with stitches the following day, healed and everything. And I had my surgery done there, where I had scissors stuck in my nose, and that kind of just blew me out of my physical reality. So that's the first time that I've seen spaceships was there. And the last time that I've seen spaceships was last year, which when I was in Coronado, California, I was visiting my girlfriend there. And as we were walking to the beach, I have these voices that I hear, help us, we need assistance. So I actually projected myself right into that area. And there were 2 small, benevolent beings that were being trapped underneath the military base in Coronado. So I tell my girlfriend, these beings are talking to me. And she's like, okay, find out what's going on, because we're kind of open to this since 2004. So for me, these kind of conversations, I don't know, for some people might sound weird, but it is part of the reality, and we're just not aware of it. Telepathic communication happens instantaneously all the time. We just don't catch on to it. As these beings channeled this to me, they asking me to send it to their mothership to let them know. So I stood there, and as I channeled it up, that these beings need assistance, the communication came through me, which I was able to translate into physical reality in a sense where that energy came through, and I knew that they were communicating that the base, the military base, has already created a system that will block telepathic communication and have other alien beings physically trapped in there. So as I channeled this, there's basically an agreement with these ETs that are benevolent that the government or anything else cannot touch them. And they have to let them go if they're ever caught, because they are here to serve completely a different frequency. It is not beyond this world.
You know, that I'm just going to say that's a whole other type of experience than being abducted and taken. And, you know, I mean, I was just trying to figure out, what do we do with the, you know, just the fear of encounter? How do you recommend getting beyond that? Because I think if we can get over the shock, how did you integrate it and not be shocked? I mean, I guess that would help people listening.
When these events happen so often, you kind of get immune to it, right? But in the beginning, what I did, I worked with myself, because I did have fear. Something touching you in your meditation, you're like, what's going on? You open your eyes, and you have fear towards these and being afraid. I went through seeing my own fears inside in each energy field. So looking the fear in each chakra. Yes. So the representation. So I started to go through that perspective. That was helpful to me as I started to transform that energy instead of understanding what the fear is. What does it feel like? And being emotionally connected to these things, it's much, I think, easier to transform it because you're there, you're with it. It's beyond your physical. So through that, I started to change myself.
How would you recommend, like, to me or Marie or Henrietta, like, to get to that next level where it's like, or maybe I don't want to speak for other people, where it's, or just me, like, oh, there they are, how you doing? And because it's still quite shocking because their vibration is so different. This is my theory. Their field is so different that's part of the trauma.
Well, that same night, now that I was going to get to this, that following night, we were laying on the rooftop and just watching the skies. And out of nowhere, my girlfriend grabs me and starts, oh, here, look. I said, come down. And she said, look. And I look up, and there's this huge pyramidal golden ship just floating about 50 feet above us. And she's all still like shocked that she saw this. And I just felt so much love coming from that energy there that it completely relaxed me. So afterwards,
she's in fear and you're in love. I mean, you're
correct. I was just like,
no, I mean,
okay. Confirmation. So I wasn't crazy, you know. But seeing that, after that, she says, let's draw of what you saw and what I saw, and do not tell me. I said, okay. So basically, it was something like this.
Yeah.
And she drew the same picture.
Wow,
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, can you hold that up again? Hold it up, because so that's a triangle with, what's that in the center? Like something spinning?
Yes, it was like something spinning there. And just 3 lights, and this whole pyramid was a golden energy, golden light coming out of it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
So
I don't know.
that was the experience, the last experience, where we're very close. And yes, you'll go into shock, like to see something like this until you integrate that more deeper.
Well, Henrietta, we'll have to go to Mount Shasta to bring in those ETs, you know.
Yeah, well, I feel, I'm in Mexico, and
oh, right.
I just was going to say that I definitely, these conversations are helping me to be more adventurous. I'm interviewing people, having conversations, and then the next thing I would like to do is to actually go to some locations where,
right. Well,
I feel drawn to go. There are lots around here where there've been many kind of spaceships, a bit like Igor's describing.
Well, let me
ask
Jim. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, this triangle is it's very important. It's like, it keeps appearing anyway.
We'll figure it out. Jim, you want to jump in here? Jim's.
Yeah, I got a triangle story myself too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was April '93. I was stationed on Fort Rucker, Alabama. I was a pathfinder. So our job was to know each and every aircraft helicopters that flew around the posts. And I was married at the time, and my next door neighbor was an air traffic controller. So myself and my wife were sitting out on a porch watching a meteor shower, and my neighbor and his wife were sitting out on their porch watching the meteor shower outside. And something told me, look behind you. And I look behind me, and there's this large black triangle going at treetop level, and you couldn't hear it. And I'm seriously talking treetop level, maybe half a mile above us, because we were in like a valley. And I look over at my neighbor and I said, Sean, is that anything you ever saw on radar? He says, no. And as soon as I said it, it looked like they saw us, because they stopped halfway and they started slowly going backwards the way they came. And
that's so interesting.
Did you get any telepathic communication or anything?
I wasn't as attuned to that sort of stuff back then as I was now. Yeah. After taking the remote viewing courses with you, I opened up myself more.
Right.
But it was just really wild. And I don't know if it's related or not, but I hurt myself parachuting. So I had a back surgery and I was in a semi-body cast. So I wasn't totally paralyzed. And I'm laying in a hospital bed, and I had an episode of sleep paralysis maybe 4 or 5 weeks after that. So I don't know if it's linked, or
it could be, because
it could be.
Sleep paralysis is like, I feel they're sort of pulling you out of your body. There's like a energetic element where when I've had those experiences, like I felt beings around, but I couldn't move, and I couldn't open my mouth, and it's like an altered state. You think you're awake, but then in a way you're not awake, but you think you are, and then you wake up and you realize you weren't awake. So
you can see around the room, and your eyes, you think your eyes are open, your eyes are shut, and you're literally looking around the room to see what's there. And that all just happened, like I said, within 6 weeks of each other.
Wow.
I think
yeah.
Go ahead.
And that Mario was talking about how, he was screaming, but his mouth was closed. And, that whole feeling of you being unable to, this sort of paralysis thing, which I also experienced.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. So Igor, since you're pretty advanced in a sense, because you're more conscious. If like me or Mario or Henrietta, you have some energetic exercises that people can do so to make the connection more consciously. Can you talk about that?
Well, we have to understand that what comes to you is your own type of a reflection. The only way you can attract that being is because you have a certain fear inside of you. So if you are in that astral plane when you get stuck and you cannot do nothing and you feel them holding you, you have to come into your heart.
Even though you're scared, that's a hard thing to do.
It's like basically mind over body at that point. And you have to be mentally aware, so conscious that, okay, I have to come to my heart. As soon as you come to your heart, you are this grand, powerful universe that nothing can penetrate through. Because now you're going beyond those energies that they are involving in or operating under. So that frequency of your heart is now shows you that you're the master of your universe. So anything that comes now, you're conscious of it. And right away, those energies kind of just expand out of you. So now you're becoming in control of your astral dreams and during the times of abduction as well, because this is like your center of your universe. And you're showing that I am this strong, that I can hold my space. And now I get to choose what I want to experience. Those implants happen in our energetic field of fear. So I would see them as, let's say, energy spokes or like chips that are stuck in my energetic field, which connect to my neurological brain. And just feeling that energy, kind of grabbing it or grasping it or something, visualizing it, will allow you to kind of release that belief system.
But it's not easy. Like the other night, Henrietta, in a call we had, you felt an energy that walked by and it spooked you. Could you, it's true. Could you then get into your heart? I mean, because you're so sort of creeped out, it's hard.
Because that just takes a bit of practice, like hearing other people say it, like Eagle. Like if that happens again, which it might, I'd like to be able to stay more present with it and go into that sort of feeling of, as Eagle says, I know that feeling of when you're really in the love in your heart. It's a much bigger, it protects you from fear and danger. And so,
right.
Yeah.
And I myself went through all these fears.
Well, Mario, do you think that's possible? I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying, how's that sound?
Sounds good. That's what I've been trying to do. But the fear always wins.
Right. I know it's freaky when you're suddenly in a whole other reality.
Eagle, what do you say about that? The fear always wins. How would you work with that?
I went through all those fears myself, where I was dragged out of bed, physically being dragged out of bed because you go so deeply into those realms. So I went through shocks. I would sweat. I would wake up all scared. But the following day, I would sit and I would analyze, okay, if this is energy, how can I operate in that understanding?
Right.
This is what we have to change. It's changing our perception, our understanding, the way energy thinks. So if you start to think in those quantum fields, you start to understand, okay, this is an energy that I'm experiencing. Because until then, you are attached to it and you think it's happening to you.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have to kind of mentally understand that, okay, this is a separate world where I can still be in control of.
Yes. That's a really good way of putting it.
Well, if you can get there, I think practice and you Mario, now you've had at least 4 experiences, so maybe that's preparation. Because in one of my experiences where I was freaked out, the voice said, "Just relax," like just like, I think it was a paralysis. It was saying, "Just relax into," and I was still kind of freaked out, but I did hear kind of like feminine voice, like just relax or something. So because I think in that state of the sleep paralysis, whatever's happening, there is actually control on the astral level. If I could relax into that, then I'm in another world where I'm actually controlling the situation, but the personality is still not adjusted to.
Yes,
Still
exactly.
freaking.
Exactly.
Right. So maybe that's the test. What do you think, Jim? Have you had that happen to you more than once? Unmute, Jim. Yeah.
No, I had a bunch of paranormal encounters. You know, I did ghost hunting for about 7 years and nothing alien related. Had a couple.
What was the ghost? Did you find ghosts?
Yes.
What did you find?
I've had stuff thrown at me. I've had, walked into one room and I started having head pain, and the investigators are writing it down because I'm the new guy. And, I walk over to the other side of the kitchen. I'm starting to have chest pain. They're writing it down. I'm like, what's going on? Why are you writing this stuff down? They said, we'll tell you later. So we walk out. I says, could you explain why my pain was so important to you? They said, one guy shot himself in the head where you had a headache. Wow. And another guy had a heart attack in the other side of the room where you had chest pain. I'm like, God, you could warn me about this stuff before we walk into the room.
Wow, you're an empath. You're really, that's incredible.
But, no other alien encounters. I've had, living here, I've had several audio encounters with a big hairy guy in the woods.
Really? A Bigfoot, you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean you heard them?
Yeah, I heard them.
You're in the woods of North Carolina somewhere in the mountains.
Right. I've heard, them trying to imitate birds. I had an owl that comes by frequently, and you hear the regular hoot hoot of the owl. Well, these guys can't imitate an owl for anything. One went hoot, hoot, hoot. I'm like, come on, guys, try to, do a little bit better. I've heard them whistle before. When the birds quit chirping right around sunset, I was coming out of my shed and I was playing Cusco, the musical group that used to be played on Art Bell's Coast to Coast, the instrumental group.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing that in the shed while I was doing some work, and I come walking out and I hear this thing go. I'm like, that's no bird. I said, thanks for the applause, guys. I'll check you later. So
did it freak you out? Did it
no.
scare? Oh, okay.
No, we get along pretty good. I don't bother them. They don't bother me.
I do believe there's Bigfoot. I mean, there's so much that we've been just conditioned to think doesn't exist. And that's why I like doing these forums, because if people hear this and then they hear a whistle like that, or they have an experience, then it's like they don't discount it. And it kind of expands the world for all of us. Don't you think, Henrietta? We're like, that happened to you. Like when you acknowledged that, yes, these were aliens, you said your world had changed. That I think is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, aliens, but just other,
or ET, whatever other. But once you acknowledge that they were real, it's
an acknowledgement about that one is just infinitely unknown to oneself, and it's like you can keep discovering, like we're just that feeling of kind of liberation that we don't really know what creatures we are, but we can keep discovering. I think that a lot of people's depression and all those modern problems comes from this feeling of smallness, that we're just very small, and we're not. We're like vast, unlimited forms of intelligence, which is very exciting to me.
Yeah.
And our main operational system of connection is love. That's the main and energy that exists, that grows everything. So that's a it's a wonderful thing when you just attune to that alone. Then for myself, no form of depression can exist, because I'm just it's just a feeling of wonder.
Well, Mario, did you want to say something? Looked like, did anything come to you in that discussion? Any new ideas about?
Nothing yet.
No, but any new ways, like if this experience happens to you again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, throughout each encounter, always something revealed. Like for the second one, I saw the shadow and, the figure like. The third one, I actually felt their fingers, they're touching me. And the fourth one, then I actually got to see them, visually. And then, after that, it had been a while since, they visit. So I thought, oh, why aren't they coming back? And that's when I got to see the UFO at work. They were just sitting up there. And, so
So you wanted them to come back, huh? You actually were saying,
yeah, I felt like I wanted them to come back because I really wanted to actually, rather than being put into that paralyzed state, I wanted to actually like see them or, or follow them, whatever they're doing, just to see what they want.
Yeah, no, that's maybe we could do a little meditation. Mihaela, did you have something? But with Igor, can you come back and lead us through one of those meditations to prepare us? But before you do that, Mihaela, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, because these events that happen basically for me was an uplifting change into how I feel and how I think and how I react. Yeah. And with me is the violet energy. For some reason, I've been taken it to a place where there was so much love, huge amount of love. And after that, in the morning, I cannot remember. I remember just a place and crystal. Yes. That's it. The crystal word comes to me. Violet color comes to me, and the place where I prayed, and there was so much love that days after that I was filled with love. Such a love feeling for everything, like the nature, the trees. The trees mean so much for me, and sunsets, yes. Earth. Love for everything. So
beautiful.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
That's the most important thing. That's what I wanted to say.
I agree.
Thank you. Wow, beautiful. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. Igor, do you want to, I like your meditation. So do you want to bring us into a space where, like, when we have these experiences, we'll be prepared in a different way with a different type of consciousness? I mean, because I think more and more of this is going to keep happening to people. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see, but it seems like something's, I mean, more and more people are coming forward saying this has been my experience. And I think it's a movement. I think it is, but we have to be prepared. Actually, that's the subtitle of the book, is Preparing for the New Realities of Extraterrestrial Existence. So, all right. Victor, Igor, you have anything for us? Unmute yourself, because I like your spiral energies and all. I mean,
yeah. So let's get into like a meditative state. If you guys want sitting or laying down, it's whatever is convenient for you. So just take a deep breath in into your belly. Just breathe in. Stay with that breath. Just allow yourself to relax. Each one of you is a master of your own, and thank you. Now bring awareness gently to your heart. stay in that beautiful space of your heart. Within that center, there's a dot of your heart. Just allow that energy to spiral out from your heart, like the great universe, spiraling out through your chest, through your shoulders. And allow that heart energy to spiral out through your chest, through your shoulders, and out into your energy fields, 3 feet in each direction. As you bring your awareness, the vibration of your heart, expanding beyond your physical. And just stay there for a moment, aware of your heart, but yet expanded. And you're not anticipating to do anything at this moment. Just feeling that energy of the heart as it emanates out 3 feet in each direction. Now gently call upon your guides. Call upon the ETs, the Palladian consciousness, the Arcturian consciousness, and any other consciousness that you resonate. As you do that, bring awareness to your crown. As the crown starts to spiral at a speed of light. Allow that twirling energy to come down through you and all around you. All the way down through your thighs and your feet. Some of you have a being standing behind you on the left side, not all. Allow them into your energy fields, or the ones that sense them in the front. Through that emotional state of peace, you can communicate with any consciousness in any universe. And if you are ready, start taking some deep breaths in. One more time, breathe in. As you gently open your eyes, still be aware of your energy fields all around you.
Thank you. Well,
Thanks.
I feel more.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Hope I didn't put you guys to sleep.
No.
Wonderful.
Any closing words? Mario, what do you think? Any closing words from you, or
I just want to say thank you all for listening and sharing your story. And I just feel a lot more better now, having to speak with others who have their experiences rather than telling my family or friends.
Your family, Jesus said you're never a prophet in your own town. So your family never understands you. That's why you're, I mean, it's my experience.
Yeah.
After a certain time period, they start to understand. It took me about 7 years until it became more mainstream.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And what about you, Jim? Any words from you?
Just want to tell them to embrace the weird. That's all you can do. Don't fight it. Just say yes.
I mean, that's good, because so many of us are taught how to trying to fit in, and if we don't fit in, man, we'll have to make our own friends somewhere else.
Exactly. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Mahela, yeah.
So with this experience, I learned about heart-brain coherence. And I learned that I have to be in my heart. All decisions be made into the heart rather than brain. And it don't fight to resist the change, but rather open up to a change in how you feel, how you think, and how you speak. Increase frequency, neutralize your feelings, and be coherent. So if you are in your heart, change your negative feeling with the opposite positive feeling through the day. And that's my learning through this experience. So that was a very precise insight given to me every time.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. It's really good. Yeah.
What about you, Henrietta? Where should we go with this program next week? What should we explore, and what do you feel?
What should we explore next week? Well, I don't know if it's time yet for this, but I know somebody was talking about the quantum fields. I'm very interested in what they're discovering in quantum.
Who talked about that? That sounds good.
There's somebody here, Igor maybe, or yeah. You mentioned quantum field. I'm just interested in these really new discoveries in quantum physics, which are happening all the time, and how our whole perception of matter, that are all of everything in reality of what we've conceived of it's possible that it's changing very rapidly, and that's very exciting to me, because Jimmy said, embrace the weird. I mean, or just embrace the possibilities of which are just, it's just very liberating.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to go next week. Maybe
To be like intrepid adventurers together. The other thing was, stay connected to people that are talking your language, because that's I think really important.
Yeah, actually, Mario, there's a woman named Marie Rodwell in Australia who talks. Do you know her? Have you heard of her, Mario?
No.
She has a whole Australian Center for Extraterrestrial something. Marie Rodwell, she's on Facebook. She's around. She wrote a whole book. She talks to a lot of people of having these experiences.
Yeah, she's probably really interested to talk to you, and she'd probably have some helpful things to say to you. You'd feel probably relieved.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. She regresses people back to their encounter and puts them in a position where they're not in the fear, but they're able to look objectively at it. maybe I have an email for her or something. But I think she's probably the biggest UFO ET contact researcher in Australia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's up in Queensland though, but she does everything on Skype. She'll do a session probably with you. Tell her you're a friend of mine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to find her email and send you on Facebook.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. And if you have more experiences, just come on back on and report them. Because I wonder if they'll be different, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I know this is probably your first time talking about this publicly, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's big. It's a whole, it's so different. So it's a shift, you know? No one talks about this stuff.
No.
Except me and Henrietta.
It's fun and liberating, and you can start putting the pieces of the puzzle together quite
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Igor. Maybe I'll see you somewhere soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Nice to
Yeah.
see you, Igor.
Same here. Much
And
love.
All right.
Thank you.
for hosting this, putting it together. We'll keep going every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yes, we'll do another roundtable of something, and all the people watching on YouTube, and I don't know, maybe we should go back to Comcast next week. I don't know. We'll see. It hasn't been working out.
Better, doesn't it? Seems
Yeah,
to work.
this is easier.
The Zoom, yeah.
Yeah, the Zoom is easier. Mahala, thank you.
Thank you, Mahala. Contribution.
Mahala and Jim are in the remote viewing class, and we've had some amazing connections there. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Henrietta. Be in touch. Thank you, Jim.
Alan.
I don't know if I'll be there tomorrow night. I'm going to be traveling, but I'll let you know. Send me an email, Jim, with your telephone number, and we'll talk. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming on, Mary. I really appreciate it.
It's all right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.